Have you ever played a game that was so utterly bizarre that you were convinced it was just a fever dream you had as a child until randomly stumbling across it years later? That's me with Vision by Proxy. I had extremely vague memories of playing the second game but could not possibly remember what it was called until randomly coming across it in 2023. So what better time to discuss this trilogy than in the year of our Lord 2026, 5 years after the death of Flash and 13 years after the last installment. This is the Vision by Proxy trilogy. I bet none of you knew this existed. The original VBP is actually a game made as a school project for a game design class. I'm not going to dwell much here because it's just a crummy school project, but wow, some of the decisions made here are bizarre. For example, why does the coloring on some objects go outside the lines? The way Team Rose went about making the art for specifically the girl eye is really weird too. The gardener eye genuinely looks super solid for a school project, and the alien and architect eyes are just straight lines, it's hard to mess that up. But the girl eye looks like it was drawn almost exclusively with the graffiti tool from MS Paint, and it looks really bad. Another thing I appreciate Team Rose doing is making original music for this game. It's just some short loops, but it goes to show that they really did care. That's really all there is to talk about with this one. Let's move on to the game that most people watching this are going to recognize. Vision by Proxy 2nd Edition, yes that's what they called it, was released in August of 2011 and it is a massive improvement on the first game. The four eyes all look way better this time around, they actually gave the girl eye a style that looks good, and the blueprint style for the architect was also further developed. The music was also revamped, and by that I mean they kicked out the guy who did the music for the first game and brought on Ben Stapner to do the Alien Eye theme and used Kevin MacLeod for everything else. The game is still entirely beatable in like 5 minutes, but that's fine since the 3 levels we got are on par with the first games. After completing the main story, we gain access to the challenge levels, which house some of the best and worst levels of the trilogy. Sectors X Daydream is the best level in the entire trilogy because of how creatively it uses each eye to create an actually challenging tower climb, but on the opposite side of the picture, we have Sector Z Darkness. This one is competing with some of the shit the third game pulls at times for worst in the trilogy. It's just parkour with the alien eye and it's not interesting in the slightest. That's about it for this one. It's the most popular of the 3 and that's entirely deserved. If anything, this one shows that the concept of the first game was actually pretty good, it was just brought down by the devs' lack of experience. Now, let's move on to Miss Vision by Proxy now. Miss Vision by Proxy was released in February 2013, and wow is this one long. It's 11 levels, and while that doesn't seem like many considering the second game had 6, these levels never fucking end. The Gamer Eye, Sailor Eye, and Anime Eye are all really welcome additions and help make this game its own unique installment. A good example of this would be Mission 10, the whole mirror idea shown off here is really cool. It uses the Gamer Eye's portal to switch between each side of the mirror. It is a bit weird though that the only thing you do in the mirrored section is get the Gardener Eye and immediately go back. It's also placed in the stupidest place imaginable, which doesn't help. My problems with this game, however, come in with the level design. In VVP 2, the levels were either horizontal or vertical. The levels in this one are both, and it makes searching for both the eyes and the object a pain in the ass. This game also uses the alien eye a lot more, and I don't know how to feel about it. The only time you ever needed the alien eye in previous games was in the challenge levels, and there you were pretty much forced to use it. Here, it's a weird amalgamation of all 6 eyes. It has objects from all 6 eyes, and they're all solid regardless of whether or not they're solid in the eye they come from. It's also really hard to see anything with it. You can miss the anime eye in Mission 7 really easily because of this, and that is not a good thing. I also think the final mission is really underwhelming, but that's also the case for VBP 2, so I'm not going to harp on it that much. I also like how it uses the same eyes that VBP 2 uses, that's pretty cool. In terms of music, we're back to actually making music for each eye. Professor Shy Guy, no I'm not kidding, did all of the music and it's the best in the trilogy. None of his loops range further than like 20 seconds, but they're nice, and besides Architect, they fit the atmosphere of each eye pretty well. Lauren Langley is also credited for site design for visionbyproxy.com, which is a website that doesn't exist anymore, so that's awesome. Yeah, that's about it for this one. It's a far more expansive version of VBP2 with all of the upsides and downsides that come with that. It's way too long and a lot of the levels blend into each other, but the 3 new eyes are really nicely executed and the music is also better. Now, let's wrap this up. With the exception of a handful of speedruns, the Vision by Proxy trilogy has been largely forgotten to time. The devs have not made any games since 2014, and as far as I know, none of the 3 Vision by Proxies have been ported to HTML5 to live on, so it looks like we've reached the end of the road. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.